Hey, everybody, and welcome to our deep dive today.
Yeah.
We're going to try something a little different today. It's going to be like a mini English class using this beginner English learning podcast episode.
Right.
Just for all of you out there.
Cool.
So,
Sounds fun.
yeah. What are we going to focus on?
Well, we're going to focus on 3 key areas.
Okay.
Negative commands, how to use there is and there are.
Right.
And then also the trick to using some and any.
Awesome.
So,
yeah, let's jump right in.
let's start with negative commands.
Okay.
You know, like when you want to tell someone, don't do that.
Right.
Maybe you want to say, don't eat that or don't go.
Yeah, very useful.
Yeah, it can be very useful.
How do we do that?
So to form negative commands in English, we use don't before the verb.
Okay.
Don't.
No.
So for example, don't eat that would be no comes eso.
That's easy.
It's simple, right?
Yeah. Just like adding a no in Spanish.
Exactly, like adding a no before the verb in Spanish.
Another example, don't go.
Okay.
That's no vayas in Spanish.
Easy peasy.
See?
Yeah.
Easy peasy.
All right, so what's next?
All right, so let's move on to there is and there are.
Okay.
We use these phrases to say that something exists.
Right, like there's a cat on the roof.
Exactly. There is a cat on the roof.
Or hay un gato en el techo.
Hay un gato en el techo.
Okay.
We use there is when we talk about one thing, something singular.
Right.
One cat, there is.
Un gato hay.
But if there are many cats, we use there are.
Right.
For example, there are many cats on the roof.
Okay. Hay muchos gatos en el techo.
Hay muchos gatos en el techo.
All right.
So there is for singular, there are for plural.
Got it.
Hey for singular, hey for plural.
Makes sense.
Now, how do we make these phrases negative?
Yeah. What if there is not a cat on the roof?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
We just add not to is or are.
Okay.
So there's not a cat on the roof. Becomes there isn't a cat on the roof.
And in
In Spanish, it would be no hay un gato en el techo.
Hmm?
And for plural,
What?
there are not any cats on the roof,
All right.
which is no hay gatos en el techo.
So it's all about whether we're talking about one or many.
It's all about paying attention to whether you're talking about one thing or many things.
Okay, I'm with you.
Okay.
So now let's talk about some and any.
Okay.
These words are all about quantities.
Right.
A little bit or not at all.
Yeah. Some is for when we have a little bit of something.
Exactly.
Algunos or algo in Spanish.
For example, there are some apples in the basket.
Okay.
Hay algunas manzanas en la canasta.
And we use any in questions and negative statements.
Right.
Alguno or ninguno in Spanish.
Perfect.
Like, are there any cookies left? Which is quedan galletas in Spanish.
Okay.
Or there's any milk.
No hay leche.
Some for positive statements, any for questions and negatives.
I think I'm getting it.
Some positivo,
Okay.
any preguntas y negativo.
I got it.
You got it.
All right, let's practice.
Okay.
Imagine you're at a restaurant and you want to ask if they have any juice.
Okay.
How would you ask that in English?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Take your time. Think about it.
Okay, I'm thinking.
All right, time's up.
Okay.
The correct way to ask is, do you have any juice?
Okay.
And in Spanish, ¿tienes jugo?
¿Quién es jugo?
All right, one more.
Okay.
You want to tell your friend that you have some apples in your bag.
Okay.
How would you say that in English?
Okay, so this is a positive statement. So I would say, I have some apples in my bag.
Okay, and in Spanish?
Tengo algunas manzanas en mi bolsa.
Great job. You're doing fantastic.
Thank you.
Now, before I move on, I want to leave you with something to think about.
Okay, I'm listening.
You're at a market and you see a fruit you've never seen before. You don't know the name of it in English.
Uh-oh.
How do you ask the vendor if they have any?
That's a tricky one.
Yeah, it is, but we're going to give you some time to think about it. We'll come back to that challenge after a short break. That was a good warm-up.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
We covered a lot.
Yeah, but let's recap what we learned.
Okay.
We started with negative commands.
Right.
Just add don't before the verb.
Like don't eat that.
Exactly.
Now, comas eso.
It's a simple way to tell someone no.
Yeah, don't do something.
Perfect. Okay, so next we explored there is and there are.
Yes.
We use there is for singular nouns and there are for plural nouns.
Right, like there is a book on the table.
Hay un libro en la mesa.
Or there are many books on the table.
Hay muchos libros en la mesa.
And to make them negative, we just add not.
Right. There isn't a book on the table.
No hay un libro en la mesa.
And for plural,
there aren't any books on the table.
no hay libros en la mesa.
It's all about paying attention to one or many.
Exactly one thing or many things.
Got it.
Okay. And finally, we learned about some and any. Some is for positive statements. Any is for questions and negative statements.
Okay, so like, I have some apples would be...
Tengo algunas manzanas.
You have any apples?
Tienes manzanas.
And I don't have any apples would be...
No tengo manzanas.
So you see the pattern.
Yeah, you're getting it.
Okay, cool.
Now, remember that challenge I gave you before?
The one with the fruit.
Yes, you're at a market and you see this fruit that you've never seen before. You don't know the name in English.
Really?
How do you ask the vendor if they have any?
Okay, so I would point to the fruit.
Okay.
And say, excuse me? Do you have any of these?
Perfect.
Would that work?
Yes, using these and pointing is a great way to communicate.
That makes sense?
When you don't know the word,
Right.
you can even add some descriptions.
Okay.
Like, do you have any of these red, round fruits?
So describe it.
Yeah, exactly.
And use any because it's a question.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, now let's say you want to try a small amount before you buy a lot.
Okay.
How could you ask for that?
Well, some is used for positive statements. So maybe I could say, could I have some of these, please?
Perfect.
Would that work?
Yes, you're using some correctly.
Okay.
And you're being polite by using could.
Oh, right.
You're really getting the hang of this.
I'm trying my best.
It's amazing how much you can say with just a few basic words and phrases.
It really is.
Right.
Okay.
And remember, it's okay to make mistakes.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The important thing is to keep practicing and keep learning.
You've been a fantastic teacher.
And you've been a great student.
Oh, thank you.
You're picking things up so quickly.
I'm feeling more confident about speaking English.
That's wonderful to hear.
Yeah.
Confidence is key.
Definitely.
Now, before we wrap up,
Okay.
I want to leave you with a final thought.
I'm all ears.
Think about all the things you've learned today.
Okay.
Negative commands, there are some, and any.
Right?
How can you use these in your everyday life?
That's a good question.
Yeah, maybe practice with a friend. Or try using them in a real conversation.
I like that idea.
Yeah,
I'm going to challenge myself to use at least one of these things every day this week.
I love that.
What do you think?
The more you practice, the more natural it will become.
That makes sense.
And the more fun you'll have.
I agree. Wow, we covered a lot today.
We did. It's amazing how much we fit into this deep dive.
We went from negative commands to there is air to some and any.
It's like a whole English lesson.
Right. It feels like a whole English lesson.
Yeah.
But language learning is a journey, not a destination.
You got it. It's about taking small steps.
Right. And celebrating every milestone along the way.
Exactly. And you've been a fantastic student.
You've been such an incredible guide,
Really?
explaining everything so patiently and clearly.
Well, your enthusiasm is contagious.
No, stop.
And you've grasped these concepts so quickly.
Well, I have a good teacher.
It's been a pleasure learning with you.
I was a bit nervous at first, to be honest. But you've created such a friendly and supportive learning environment.
Yeah.
It made learning English feel fun and accessible,
That's great.
even for a beginner like me.
Everyone starts somewhere.
Right.
It's about being curious, asking questions,
Mhm.
and embracing the journey.
Yeah, I feel much more confident now.
That's what we like to hear.
And I'm excited to keep practicing and exploring the English language.
That's the spirit.
Thank you so much.
You got it.
This deep dive has been a truly rewarding experience.
It has.
I feel like I've gained valuable knowledge and a renewed sense of motivation.
We're so happy to hear that.
Thank you.
Now go out there and use your new skills.
I will.
Don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Okay, I won't.
Have fun with it.
I will. Thanks again for this incredible learning adventure.
You got it.
Until next time, happy learning, everyone.
Thank you for joining us today on English Learning Podcast. I want to congratulate you for taking the time to improve your English. Every step counts, so keep moving forward and don't stop. If you enjoyed this content and want to learn more, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button so we can keep creating videos like this. Let us know in the comments what level of English you're at and what topics you'd like us to cover in the next episode. Also, check out the links in the description for additional resources to help you keep advancing. See you in the next video. And remember, English Learning Podcast is here to help you reach your English goals. Keep learning.